Hey guys, so this video has actually been a work in progress, believe it or not, because I wanted to do a video discussing this topic with a friend, and I'm not gonna give away too much other than that because, not that I think that anyone would steal it, but just in case if there's anybody that wants to hop on the same train, I don't want to put my idea out there, because I do think that it would make for a very interesting discussion video. So the discourse as of lately has been very geared towards art schools, especially with CalArts making its tuition like $50K from what I've generally seen, and I know a bunch of people have posted the tuitions like from SCAD, SVA, all these schools that have pretty high tuition costs, and the whole discourse has been whether or not it's even worth it going to these schools, because everyone has their own experiences, and that's what I want to get to in the gist of this video. I think that everyone's points have been actually really interesting to read, and I'm not gonna lie when I say that I've looked at the people whose stories started from not going to art school, because I myself did not go to art school. I went to a plain old city college, which is honestly just a regular college, that really focused on the liberal arts. But I do have a BFA in studio arts, which is just kind of a best description that I can do art, I guess. Honestly, our school gave us a divide of what they considered studio and graphic art, because those are the two separate degrees in the art field that you can go for, and I don't necessarily agree with them, but that's a discussion for another video. I'm not going to get into this one. With this one, I wanted to talk about really how people are going online and talking about these schools. I think people need to realize that when they're expressing their experiences with or without art school, they really should try not to word it as if they're trying to push what they did on others, because everyone is totally different. I try to think of it like studying, which, essentially that's what it is when you're going to school. You're learning your craft, you're studying your craft. It's a fact that everyone studies differently, and just because someone doesn't study the same way as you, doesn't mean that it's wrong. In the grand scheme of things, I really don't think that people that are advocating these ideas are generally upset with people that choose whatever option they decide to choose, but it definitely comes off that way in their writing. I'm not going to give examples, just look up art discourse, art school discourse, I don't know. You're going to see a lot of different examples. I thought it would be interesting to give you guys my personal experience, because I've had a lot of people comment really sweet things on videos that I've done post my old sketchbook video, and I mean my old sketchbook video, because I made another one that had, I don't even know how many views, but I took it down because I hated the way that I sounded and acted within that video, and I redid it. But I got a couple of comments on people asking me on how I went about studying art, because my art is insanely different from the art that I created when I was in high school. So here is my personal experience in regards to college, because I do think that I learned the most while I was in college in regards to art. And it's interesting because I went to a specialized art high school, and I majored in art in high school. Like, that's how it was kind of structured. It was structured like a college level course because it was a high school that specialized in the arts. The thing was, I was very stubborn about learning about art and different techniques because I was happy with what I did. I was very weird as a teenager, stupid really, and just wanted to draw my anime shit. But towards the end of high school and then early college, I actually wanted to draw my own comic and story, and when I started it, I realized, oh shit, I actually don't know how to draw. So initially, when I was in school, somehow, by the grace of Dali and Picasso, I got into SCAD and SVA with scholarship. I don't, to this day, understand how the fuck that happened, because as a lot of people said in my old sketchbook video, and I completely agree with, my art was shit. It was total anime garbage. It wasn't anime garbage, but my observational drawings were terrible. I was really bad. And I don't think that I'm humbling myself down, because, you can see from my old sketchbook videos, it is as trash as you can get. So anyway, going back, I ended up getting scholarships from these two schools, one of which I currently live in the same city of, which was SVA, and I had actually been in a program with them before. I was in a pre-college program with them for comics, and while it was stress-inducing, I absolutely loved it. Just don't want to ever look at that comic that I made there again. But even with the scholarships, and even living in the same city as SVA, my family, because I was lucky enough to have a family backing me up with going to school, could not afford me going to either. Because of the experience that I had at the pre-college course and how much I thought that I had actually changed over the amount of time that I was in the pre-college course, I honestly was really bitter about not being able to go at late high school and early-ish college. Especially because, I was miserable at the college that I ended up going to, but it was for other reasons aside from art. Art was definitely a prominent reason because, like I said, it was a liberal arts school, and the type of field of art that I wanted to go to was not the same type of field that everyone else in the art department really wanted to go to, because a lot of people were into contemporary art, and with me, it was like illustration and cartooning. I guess you would consider it contemporary in some way, but not in the way that my classmates were working. Everyone had a much different way of executing their work, and that was even so much with them amongst each other. It wasn't just me, but I was the vast difference from everyone else in my classroom. What I can say that both me and my mom had figured out when I was going to school was that SVA offered continuing education courses, which I took full advantage of. And I absolutely loved. And if there's anything that I'm going to make a hard suggestion for people, especially if they're deciding not to go to art school, and if they're in the New York City area, or I don't even know if these other colleges offer continuing education courses, but know that there is that option to take courses like the ones that exist in those schools with continuing ed. And I have to say the ones that I took in SVA helped me out tremendously. In the beginning, I took an independent marketing course for independent comics, which was very interesting, even though I think I took it at the wrong point of time for me personally, because I took it coming right out of high school, and I was in no way ready to market my work. That was something that I should have taken towards the end of college, but I don't know why I really ended up taking that course. I'm not saying that I regret it, but I don't understand in terms of time why I did. What I did take during the middle of my college years was an anatomy for cartoonist class, and as someone that has struggled with proportions and with just, like an overall structure of forms and consistency, that class helped me so much in the matter of, I think, 6 weeks that I took it. And it wasn't even like a straight through class. I think it was we met once a week. And that's also why the cost, I think, is so much less than a regular course at SVA. But those particular classes had helped me tremendously. And I took those classes while I was in college, or summers in between college. So while I was taking extra classes that were on the outside of CUNY, I still was retaining and gaining a lot. So with that, I'm actually not downplaying that art schools are a waste of time and money, because that honestly depends on what you're trying to get out of them. Going by SVA, because again, not only did I live in the same city as SVA, but I also knew a lot of people that had went there, people that I was very close with in high school, and also introduced me to people that had went to SVA. And something that I really loved about being over there was that you are constantly surrounded by people creating and people making up these new ideas. And for art, that's something for me personally that I would always love to have. I love art jams and I love studying together in that respect. I don't like studying with people academically because I need my space and quiet when studying that kind of shit, because I honestly don't really enjoy studying for things academically unless it's something that I actually like to do. Which even then, I don't know. I like being able to know and feel that I'm creating, if that makes any sense. While with studying, you're going off by somebody's work, but when you're actually studying something like even art and writing, I just get this different feeling when you're with people and you know everyone is simultaneously pushing something out there that's their own. I'm not sure what it is. I've tried to figure this out in regards to it because I just think it's interesting that I have different ways of studying both artistically and academically. But again, that's another video discussion, I guess, maybe. And even though it was at the end of college, but I ended up finding a really cool niche of people in college that were into the same things as me. They wanted to go into the same type of field as me, and they were drawing the same shit as me, and it was great. Like I said, the only thing that could have been better is if I met them at the beginning of college, because I think that would have made my experience at that school a little bit, just a tiny bit better. But I'm still very glad that we found each other, because I am to this day still meeting up with one person from that niche of people who's actually a very close friend to me now, and we have art jams regularly. And that is something that I need to have in order to work. So if you are that type of person that needs to have people around you creating, if you need that environment, then maybe art school would be the best thing for you. Of course, there are a bunch of other options that are out there in the world, sources where you can grab from, I'm sure. Everyone has their own story and everyone has their own way of going about this, because our government isn't really being fair at this current point in time, or just private art schools in general. The key factor that I think that everyone really needs to learn from is to have determination and consistency with improving your craft. Professionals tell you that every day you need to be drawing, even if it's just a little bit of something. You just have to keep your hand moving, and I am a firm believer of that. Do I think that you need to create a masterpiece every day? No, but you need to constantly be practicing. And wherever you are, wherever you go, whatever you decide to do, that is the mindset that you need to have, because there are people that go to art schools and that don't do shit and don't improve whatsoever. So it goes to show that even being in an art environment, if you're not willing to put in these key factors, then you're not going to learn shit. So keep that in mind when you go to write your art school discourse, that everyone is different, and if people have suggestions, go about telling your personal experience or maybe recommend a friend. Don't completely advocate things that mean something different to each person. And I'm not even talking about being offensive in a way or insensitive with different people's decisions. I'm just saying in general with these high schoolers now that are going into art school and are on the fence about choosing, because sure, while I do think that there are other ways that you can learn art aside from art school, they might work differently, and they might want something differently out of school. So again, give them suggestions, but don't be advocates for and against art school. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. But also, you do you, boo. I don't know. Whatever. Anywho's, thank you guys for watching or listening to this rant, or whatever the hell this was, and, yeah, I'll see you guys in a bit. Bye.